Hi, it's Jesse. I feel like an idiot because this is like the fifth time I've recorded this today. This time my microphone's on. Anyway, over the last year, a lot of you have been asking me about adoption and my adoption story and different questions about my adoption. And so I'm going to let all you know. I'll put them all out on the table today. So here's the deal. I was adopted by an Irish couple when I was 3.5. When I was 19, I got pregnant and I put a baby up for adoption. So that's just a little bit about me. Okay. In 2017, I had decided once again, not the first time. I've hit roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. I have been searching hard for these people since I was about 15 years old. And in 2017, my best friend Shauna called me and said, hey, a bunch of my friends have been finding their birth people with DNA tests. You should take a DNA test. Well, before she called me, I had once again tried to get my pre-adoption birth records. My whole entire life, up until I found my birth people, I had been lied to about what state that I was born in. So when I tried to get my pre-adoption birth certificate, I sent that state a $30 check. As soon as that state got my check, they cashed it. Unfortunately, I was not born in that state, so they could not send me the paperwork that I needed that I had already paid for. That in itself is a whole nother story because I had to get a hold of a lawyer, basically sue the state. Stupid. Anyway, when I have found out after I have found my birth people that before I was adopted, I lived with two of my cousins for an entire year before I was put up for adoption. In 2017, I was living in a completely different state, and I had tried to get my birth records. And when I was on the state's website to download the PDF file to get the paperwork, there was a little green box down at the bottom of the site that said, tell us a little bit about your adoption story. The fact that I had been adopted and that I put a kid up for adoption, it was basically killing two birds with one stone. And what I didn't know was that, please tell us a little bit about your adoption story, was from a completely different company. It was a national television show that was on like a little ad down below the PDF file, and I literally wrote 5 of the shortest sentences I've ever written in my entire life. And I basically told them, yeah, when I was a teenager, I got pregnant, I put a kid up for adoption. I myself was adopted. So I'm not kidding you, within a minute of me hitting send, I was getting a phone call from California. And it was a national television show wanting to put me on their show. And what they required was paperwork, of course. So because I had been lied to, and the state that I was told that I was born in, I wasn't born in, I wasn't receiving any of the paperwork. And so the national television show had to basically like pass me over. And unfortunately for them, they hadn't been picked up for the new season yet. They have now, but at that time they had not been. And so they couldn't even promise me that they were going to put me on the show because they hadn't been picked up. They didn't know if another show was coming, and they couldn't wait the length of time that it took for me to get the paperwork because the state that I had been told I was born in didn't have my paperwork because I wasn't born there. And so I basically got passed over. But one of the other items that the national television show had and they sent me was a DNA test. So I took the DNA test. So my best friend Shauna, over 1,000 miles away, texts me one day and says, "Hey, I got a lot of friends that are finding their birth people through the DNA test." And I was like, "Yeah, been there, done that. Got no information for you." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, you got adopted by a set of Irish people, you know." One of the biggest things my whole entire life growing up was I didn't know what nationality I was, and I really, 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 really wanted to know what that was. And so when I got my DNA test results back, I found out I was, dun da da, British. So Shauna calls me and says, "Oh my gosh, how much British are you?" I don't know, because I didn't look at that. And I told her, I said, "I'm going to have to go back and I'm going to have to look at my DNA results and see what percentage that was." And when I went back to check that out, that was fun when I found a little button that said, "Oh, look, other people that have taken our DNA test are related to you. Check them out." And I was like, whoa, because that was the closest I had ever come to finding these people, because I was looking in the wrong state. Anyway, so I get on there and I found a bunch of second and third cousins that I was related to. So I started messaging a whole bunch of people saying, "Hey, yo, I got my test results back. We're related. How we related? Who are you?" You know. And I found a second cousin that was out of the state of Washington, and he graciously gave me his phone number. And I actually talked to him several times, and I was like, "Dude, how I feel like I am an idiot when it comes to this kind of stuff," because he kept giving me numbers and percentages and different things that I could not figure out, and I didn't know how he was figuring it out. And I'm like, "Are you some kind of math genius? Because I can't figure this out." He was the one that told me what my paternal father's family was. And I was like, how do you even know this? He was the one that told me, "You're more related to my brother than you are to me." How do you find that out? You know, so there was a lot of information that I was being given that I didn't understand, and I kept calling him over and over again, going, "I don't get it. How do you understand all this stuff? I don't understand it." But anyway, so when I had another cousin, unbeknownst to me, now this was a cousin, this was like a first cousin. She had known about me her whole entire life, but because I didn't know my birth family, I didn't know anything about them. And she had known about me, and she knew that she had a cousin with my name. And when she got her test results back, my name was the first name that popped up on her. These are people that are related to you. And so, unbeknownst to me, she was at work at the time. And she kept asking me these questions, but she would wait like 45 minutes in between each question. And it took me like 5 hours to get like any kind of information out of her, because all she kept doing was asking me questions. And at the end, she asked me if I knew what my middle name was when I was born, and I did. And I told her, and she said, "I know exactly who you are. You need to contact me." Unbeknownst to me, she was living 5 hours north of me. Now, I grew up in a completely different state. I grew up over 1,000 miles away, and my husband that I'm married to now had an opportunity to move way out west and said, "I want you to go with me." And so I did. And when Ashley got a hold of me, I happened to be living in the same exact state I was born in, which was wild to me. Anyway, so when she contacted me, that was December 19th of 2017. And she said, "I know who your mom is." And one of the very first questions I asked her was I born in this, state? And she was like, "No, you weren't born there. You were born in a different state." That's why I could never find these people, was because I was looking in the wrong state. I couldn't get any information out of the state because I didn't have anything in that state. And when they sent me a letter, it said, "There is no pre-adoptive birth certificate," and there's no explanation as to why there's none. Now I know why, because I wasn't born in that state. Anyway, so to answer your questions and to make this video as short as I possibly can, because I'm only allowed to make it for 15 minutes and already it's been 10 minutes. Yes, I have found my birth family. About 3 weeks after I found out who they were, I was in contact with my birth mom, and she came out and she stayed with me for 5 days. And about 3 months after that, I flew out to where she was living, and I spent a week out there meeting aunts and uncles and cousins and all kinds of people that I didn't even know existed. So that's all I'm going to talk about today. I just wanted to let you guys know, 26 subscribers, and you've been asked 1,000 times. Yeah, well, here's my problem with Facebook, okay? Your friends are not your friends, okay? This is who I consider my friend. Do you have my phone number? Those are my friends. I was inundated with hundreds of people trying to get me to add them on Facebook, and I'm private. I know I'm a musician. You're a musician. You perform for a living. What do you mean you're private? I know. But I'm private, and I don't really give out my information to many people, and I don't really tell people where I'm at or what I'm doing or what's happening or whatever. But if you have my phone number, you are a friend of mine. So the 5,000 people that I had as friends on Facebook, I was inundated with friend requests from my birth family, and because half of them don't have the same last name. They're all married to other people. And so I was getting friend requests from people I didn't have the same name as my birth family, and I didn't know who they were. And so I would reject these people and say, no, you're not going to be my friend. And it got so bad that I shut my Facebook page down. I have another cousin that keeps telling me, your Facebook pages are still up. They're still up. Yeah, I know they're still up. You got to know, Japanese, Chinese, and Taiwanese in order to delete a Facebook page. It's nearly impossible. So my Facebook pages aren't going to be deleted. But guess what? I haven't logged into them in over 2 years. Don't have any plan to. All my pictures and stuff are still up there. If I have to go steal a picture from my own Facebook page, I'll log in and I'll get it. But that'll be the only reason that I ever go back up on Facebook. No, I decided Facebook is not for me. I liked MySpace way better because I wasn't told what to watch. I didn't have to look at people's food. I wasn't shown a rainbow and look at a picture of my cat. No, MySpace was way better because I didn't have to read anything about anybody else. But anyway, 13 minutes in, just to let you all know, yes, I found my birth people. Yep, I did, and I found them through a DNA test. So if you have any more questions, or if you're my friend and you want to text me and say, hey, what's going on, I will let you know. But other than that, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.